ceremony. I want to again congratulate the class of 2023, and I also want to thank the parents, the friends, the siblings, the grandparents, the spouse, the significant others, because I would have never made it without you. And I want you to stand up, class, and thank your parents and everyone that got you here. You and your parents will never forget this day, believe me. So as Dr. McKinnon said, we have a great tradition going back to 1828, but really the backbone of MCG is our regional campus system. And I'm sure the parents are wondering why your kids were in LaGrange, Georgia, they were in St. Mary's, Georgia, they were in Dalton, Georgia, they were in Augusta, they were in Athens, they were all over the state. And that's really fortunate that we have this great regional campus system. But we only do it because we got great people and great partnership campus and great regional campus deans. I'm just going to call them and ask them to stand up. Shelley, stand up, and have all the rest of the partnership campus faculty stand up. So we have 60 students now in Athens and 204 in Augusta. So thank you. Now, not only do we have the best regional campus deans in America, but they're all characters in their own way. And the person that has to herd these sheep is Catherine Martin. Catherine, stand up. I'm sure you could talk forever on the idiosyncrasies. So at the Northwest campus, we have Paul Brock and Dixon Freeman. They kind of cover Rome and Dalton, and Paul Brock always flies here. I'm always worried about doctors flying planes, but I'm very comfortable in him. I think they call him the captain. So Paul and Dixon, stand up. There's the captain. Dixon, thank you. Notice they have Emery Garbon, but they're very loyal to MCG. And then we go to the Southwest campus. We have Doug Patton and Kush Desai. Look at that. Kush is an MCG graduate, and Doug comes from the New Orleans area, so that says enough. Next in the Southeast campus, we got Wayne Rentz in Brunswick and Elizabeth Gray in Savannah, an expanding campus. And I think most of you know that these deans are like surrogate parents, right? They take care of you. They're going to follow you forever. And whenever you have trouble, call your own parents first, but don't hesitate to reach out to them because they deeply care about you. Now, we have some breaking news, as you know. We're going to have a new partnership with WellStar, the WellStar MCG health system, and we're going to have a new campus in Atlanta, which is really important. You know, when I first lecture to the students, I always ask them where they're from. And they're all from the Eddas. Marietta and Alpharetta. Now, how many of you out there, parents, are from Marietta or Alpharetta? It's got to be like a third. Well, I don't see that many. Are you hiding this fact? But that's great, because we're going to have a new campus at WellStar Marietta Kennesaw, and we have 3 people here today. We have Louis Lovett, stand up. Louis Lovett runs the GME and residency programs, right? We got Victoria Nurprasov, who is the most unusual, stand up. Victoria, you're an MCG graduate, and she told me, this seems to be a paradox, she's a geriatrician who delivers babies, so figure that one out. And then lastly, we have Joanne Zhu, who's a hospitalist and runs the transitional residency. Victoria runs the family medicine residency. This is the idea to have this UME, GME continuum. So I'm going to keep my remarks no longer than this. Brevity is the soul of wit, and we have a great speaker. I want to ask you to refrain from taking pictures or making videos of his speech, as tempted as you may be to do that. But it gives me great pleasure to formally introduce Dr. William Flannery. Dr. Flannery is known in the internet and on social media as Dr. Glaucomflecken. And so, he's a hero. This is like better than the NIH director coming here. I texted my kids, and they said, "You got him?" I said, "Oh, our class president got him." So thank you. But we're really happy you came here. And he has almost 1 million YouTube followers, and he's on TikTok. He's on Twitter. He has about 3 million subscribers, and yet he's a full-time ophthalmologist, which I found truly remarkable. There's only one hole in his life, and that is he's never been to Georgia. Never been to Georgia. He's been all over the world. He goes all over, but he's never been to Georgia. So I want you to give him a very warm Southern welcome, and I'd like to welcome Dr. Glaucomflecken.
Thank you so much. So thank you to Dean Hess for that introduction and for allowing a TikTok comedian to give the commencement address. That is quite a leap of faith, sir. I also had the honor of having dinner with Dean Hess last night, and he gave me a wonderful gift. He gave me a copy of the detailed history of the Medical College of Georgia. And I often, when I travel, I often have trouble sleeping. But with the help of that book, sir, I've never slept so well in my life. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the Medical College of Georgia class of 2023. With the exception of these last few months of your fourth year, you all have worked incredibly hard to get here. I remember what fourth year is like, okay? You have match day, and then you just disappear. And then you show up for graduation. So welcome back. I also want to congratulate the family and friends in attendance today, because now all of you know a doctor you can call at any time, day or night, for free medical advice. You have a headache, a weird rash, your cousin's husband's boss's eye is red, your tongue hurts, it doesn't matter. Whatever ailment you have, you know who to call. And graduates, you will answer the phone. That's how this works. By providing years of love and support, these people get to send you grainy photos of their various moles for the rest of their lives. Doesn't matter if you're a surgeon, psychiatrist, or cardiologist, as far as your family is concerned, you are an expert in everything. This year marks the 10-year anniversary of my own medical school graduation. I remember everything about that day. The people, my fellow graduates, the beautiful spring weather. I remember everything except the commencement address. According to Google, it was delivered by award-winning author and physician Abraham Verghese. That does ring a bell. I have no preconceived notion that what I am about to tell you will remain encoded in your long-term memory alongside cardiovascular physiology or the first time a surgeon yelled at you. My words will fade with time. And decades from now, when your grandchildren ask who gave the commencement at your med school graduation, you'll fall silent. You'll look off into the distance and say, I think he was from TikTok. To which your grandchildren will respond, what is TikTok? I may not remember the words delivered to my graduating class by Dr. Verghese, but I do remember how they made me feel. Hopeful, excited, eager, also tired. He went a little long. Those are the feelings I hope to impart to you today, except for the tired part. This is going to be a tight 15 minutes, I promise. It's a daunting task to find words to inspire the next generation of physicians, a task typically reserved for the most accomplished individuals with an entire career's worth of experience. I've only been a doctor for 10 years. That's barely a neurosurgery residency. But I have packed a lot of life into those 10 years. Residency, practicing ophthalmologist, husband, father, cancer survivor, cardiac arrest survivor, TikTok, ophthalmologist. These experiences have made me the man and physician I am today. And the wisdom I've gleaned from these experiences, I now happily pass on to all of you in no particular order. Number one, don't sleep in your contacts. Sleeping in your contacts is the number one cause of blindness in overworked, exhausted interns, probably. But rest assured, if you do develop a corneal ulcer from sleeping in your contacts, I will treat you with care and compassion, and then make a TikTok about you. Number two, get used to saying, I don't know. Although it seems counter to your experience in med school, you can still be a competent physician without memorizing the coagulation cascade. There will be plenty of times throughout your medical career when you won't know the right answer, and that's okay. What's important is that you do everything you can to find the right answer. That's what your patients care about. When a patient asks you a question and you say, "I don't know, let me look into that," they don't think you're a bad doctor. They'll just think you're a doctor who cares. Number 3, talk about your mistakes. When you walk through those hospital doors to begin your intern year, you will make mistakes. Some will be small. You order the wrong lab test, or you forget to check a patient's vision before calling an ophthalmology consult. Future emergency medicine physicians, I'm talking to you. Other mistakes will be big, mistakes that will shake your confidence, make you question whether or not you have what it takes to do this job. Don't keep those mistakes to yourself. Talk about them. Tell your co-residents, tell your attendings. When you talk to people about your mistakes, you realize something incredible, that you're not the only person in the world who has ever screwed up. That's what training is all about. You do your best to avoid mistakes, but when they happen, you learn from it. By opening up about your mistakes, you can arrive at a very important conclusion throughout your career, that you're still a good doctor, you're just human. Number 4, be on time, please. It's a simple thing, but it's so important. I want all of you to look at the doctor sitting next to you. The only thing that person loves more than being a doctor is going home on time after a full day of being a doctor. Don't be late to sign out. Don't be late to your ED shift. Don't be late to rounds. Aside from the 50 or so of you going into internal medicine, nobody likes rounds. All right, don't make it worse by showing up late. And to all the future surgeons, if you can just show up on time for your first case every day, you are halfway to a Nobel Prize in medicine. Trust me. Number 5, be creative. All of you are brilliant and brimming with creativity. You all put something in the hobbies section of your med school application, something that excites you, that sparks your creativity. Medicine in the year 2023 doesn't value creativity. It values efficiency, standardization, protocols, templates, smart phrases. See more patients, write more notes, but do it efficiently. As a result, we lose our connection to our creative sides when we desperately need it the most. When burnout and depression among physicians are more prevalent than ever. So hold on to your creativity, nurture it. Medicine can very easily take over your entire life, but carve out minutes, hours, days to be creative. Whether it's dancing, singing, writing, dressing up as different specialties and recording yourself alone, having a conversation in your bedroom. It doesn't matter. Don't discount the impact that creativity can have on your own mental health and the mental health of those around you. Number 6, treat your co-residents like family. There will be stretches of time during your training when they will be the closest family that you have. When I was a third-year resident, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. I actually found the cancer myself, which I gotta say, not too bad for an ophthalmologist. Those aren't the balls we typically treat. But that diagnosis, it turned my world upside down. Suddenly I was facing cancer treatment and oncology appointments when I should have been celebrating the end of residency, looking for a job. It was too much for me to handle alone, but my co-residents were there for me. They took call for me, filled in for me in clinic when I was recovering from surgery, all without the expectation of reciprocation. We had built a culture of support and compassion for one another. And from the interactions I've had with some of you, I know you've built that culture here. Keep it going. Residency is one of the most rewarding, but also one of the most difficult things you'll ever do. Nobody can get through residency alone. Nobody can get through medicine alone. Help each other out and let other people help you. Create that culture everywhere you go. Number 7, recognize the co-survivors of medical trauma. So I received treatment for testicular cancer, graduated from residency cancer-free, and I moved on to life as a practicing ophthalmologist in Portland, Oregon. Then 4 years later, in May of 2020, my wife Kristen woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of me gasping for breath. At first, she thought I was snoring, tried to shake me and get me to wake up, but she couldn't wake me up because I wasn't snoring. My heart stopped. I was having a cardiac arrest. That night, she did 10 consecutive minutes of chest compressions until EMS arrived. They resuscitated me. I was taken to the hospital, admitted to the ICU where I received targeted hypothermia treatment. Basically, they cooled my brain down, which is as technical as I'm going to get as an ophthalmologist. Did I get that right? Yeah. Okay. Then my wife waited for 2 days to find out if I'd survive. The longest 2 days of her life. People think the cardiac arrest is my story, but it's not. It's hers. I was unconscious the whole time. She lived through every second of my cardiac arrest and hospitalization. It happened to her too. My cancer happened to her too. Not as serious, but equally traumatizing. My medical education happened to her too. And as grateful as I am for the care that I've received along the way, I am just as grateful for the people who showed my wife care and compassion along the way. Our priority is always to take care of the patient. But we need to recognize the emotional and psychological impact that medical trauma has on family, friends, and bystanders who respond to a person in need, most often a loved one. They need care too, and they're too often forgotten. That brings me to my 8th point. Learn CPR. I was a physician for 7 years and never once thought, hey, maybe my non-medical spouse should take a CPR class. I just assumed that, for example, if somebody had a cardiac arrest during a flight, I'd be the one to respond, or more preferably, any other medical professional. Graduates, you all know CPR, but I guarantee you have a family member or friend who doesn't. Maybe somebody in the audience today. The time to learn CPR is now. So everybody grab a partner. Once I was discharged number nine, advocate. Once I was discharged and recovering from home after my cardiac arrest, I received tens of thousands of dollars worth of medical bills that my insurance company didn't pay for because doctors in the hospital who took care of me were not in my insurance network. You see, I failed to make sure everybody was in network before my heart stopped beating. My bad. This is what's called surprise billing, and it has financially devastated countless people in this country over the years. Then recently, after years of advocacy from healthcare professionals and the general public, Congress passed the No Surprises Act, outlawing the insurance practice of surprise billing. There is no shortage of injustices, misinformation, and of course, insurance companies threatening the health and safety of our patients and our profession. The opportunities for advocacy are endless. Prior authorization reform, cancer screening, gun violence, the list goes on and on. As a physician, your voice matters. Your voice has power. It has weight. Get involved in national organizations, lobby on the state and federal levels, get active on social media. You don't have to dress as different specialties and record yourself alone in your bedroom, but get on social media regardless. Turn your passion into positive change. It works. We've seen it work. We owe it to our patients, the public, our colleagues, and ourselves. And finally, number 10, have fun. We are always so focused on the next stage in life. I can't wait to finish med school. Only one more year of residency. I just need to get through fellowship. I can't wait to get through this second fellowship I decided to do for some reason. Every now and then, it's okay to stop focusing on where you're going and appreciate where you are. There are going to be highs and lows. Residency will hand you some of the worst days of your life, but you'll also do things you never thought possible. And you're going to help a lot of people. It's a long road, so have a little fun along the way, just not so much fun that you forget to take out your contacts. Congratulations, class of 2023. Thank you.